I'm Nancy Cordes. Welcome to Washington Unplugged. Al Franken has just been sworn in as the newest senator, bringing the Democrats to that coveted supermajority of 60. Earlier today, I spoke with Senator Amy Klobuchar, now the senior senator from Minnesota, about her new colleague and about that 60 number, what it means for the Democrats. I would assume that probably no one is more excited to see Senator Franken here in the Congress than you are, because what people don't realize is that with one senator missing from Minnesota, that meant your office had twice the work.
Yeah, people don't always think about this. Sometimes you might have a senator that is sick, but their staff is still working. In this case, because Senator Coleman had to close his office down, our office basically has had double the work for 6 months. This hasn't happened since 1975 in New Hampshire, and that guy only had 900,000 constituents. I have 5.2 million. We have seen doubling of the casework, everything from veterans benefits to soldiers coming home from Iraq that need a job, to Social Security checks lost in the mail, to people trying to adopt a baby from Guatemala. These are real people with real problems. And so our staff has simply done the work with no additional resources, double duty, and I am incredibly proud of them and glad that there will be a second senator in Minnesota.
I would imagine that it's kind of a double-edged sword, this number, because on one hand, you do have this power now to overcome filibusters potentially if you want to, but the question is when to use it. And the Democrats have seemed so far reluctant to actually go ahead and use that power.
I don't know if it's that as much as, remember, up until now, we had 57, 58 votes. But the other thing to remember is that our members aren't always lockstep. People have independent views at times that depend on issues in their states. So I think the issue will be what is important to this country. Healthcare, making sure we have affordable health care, making sure we have our own homegrown energy. Those are two important things. My guess is we won't use the filibuster for those things because we will have Republicans that will come over and work with us. It may not seem like it now when you're in the political fray and people are, sniping back and forth, but in the end, I believe these are going to be bipartisan bills.
Do you feel more pressure from the left to go ahead and enact the Democratic agenda with purely Democratic legislation now that you have that power, or do you feel more pressure from your constituents to actually find compromises with the Republicans?
Well, my constituents just want us to get things done, and they don't care if we do it just with Democratic votes or if we do it Democratic and Republican. I've tended to work with Republicans more in my state and in Washington, but they just are sick and tired of not having more affordable health care, of not having more of our own energy, of this increasing dependence on foreign oil. So they want this Congress to get things done.
What might surprise a lot of people is that Senator Al Franken is not necessarily the funniest senator from Minnesota, because I've seen you do stand-up and you'd give him a run for his money.
Well, I don't think his goal is to be the funniest senator from Minnesota. I think his goal is to do a good job in the United States Senate. And people will see this. Especially the national media is expecting him, to be a laugh riot and come out and do some kind of stand-up routine. Well, you're not going to see that. Minnesota has gotten used to the fact that he cares about issues, that he's smart, he's serious about things, and he has this chance now to do this on a national stage. So I know he'll be doing a lot of jokes in the back room and jokes behind stage, but I think for quite a while you're going to see very serious Al Franken working on issues.
Got it. Well, Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota, thank you so much for talking to us today.
All right.
I'm joined now by Manu Raju, the congressional reporter for Politico. And Manu, you heard Senator Klobuchar say that Senator Al Franken is not here to be funny, and anyone who was looking for laughs yesterday when he got to the Senate was disappointed. He played it straight.
He did. He's trying to put his head down and work. He's trying to not be a celebrity. He's avoiding national press for now. He's talking only to Minnesota press. As soon as he gets in here, he's involved with some of the biggest debates. I mean, he's sitting on the Health Committee, where they're debating a major health care bill right now. He's going to be sitting on the Judiciary Committee, and next week they're dealing with the Sonia Sotomayor confirmation hearing. So, he doesn't want to appear as a celebrity. He wants to just become, like he said, the 100th senator here.
It's kind of the Hillary Clinton model of coming to the Senate.
Absolutely. I mean, and, there's celebrities before Hillary, too, have taken that approach to appear like a workhorse and not a show horse, and that's kind of the approach that he wants to take here.
Now, the Democrats have been downplaying this, but doesn't this 60 supermajority actually come with a lot more pitfalls than it does opportunities? You're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you pass legislation and you ram it through, then you're not being bipartisan. If you don't manage to get your agenda through, then you're ineffective.
And that's true. I mean, there are a lot of risks here for the Democrats. If they don't get anything, if they're not able to get their agenda through, they're going to look like they're ineffective. I mean, on paper, they have 60 votes. They can break a filibuster. That's the last lever of power Republicans have in Washington. So their supporters will really be asking, why can't you get something through? You have the numbers. Why can't you get this through? But of course, the Senate politics are much more complex. You have a diverse caucus ideologically, and you have two senior senators, Ted Kennedy and Robert Byrd, who've missed a lot of votes for illnesses. So this is going to be, despite the number and this supermajority, which has not been seen since the Carter administration, it's not going to be a slam dunk in the coming months.
And Republicans are already sharpening their knives, releasing an ad just today saying, hey, look, it's on your plate now. Anything that happens, it's the Democrats' fault. That's
their storyline. That's what they're going to be saying up until 2010 Election Day. They want to say, elect more Republicans. We're the check on power. We're the last check here in Washington. There's the Democratic White House. There's a big majority in the House, and now this 60-40 split in the Senate. Their argument is going to be Republicans elect more. They're going to be the check on power. But it remains to be seen. I think, it depends on how successful this Congress is. It determines how successful they're going to be at the polls next November.
And on the other hand, you've got a lot of liberals all across the country who have been looking forward to this moment for a decade or more, and they're going to be saying to their elected leaders, hey, now you finally got the power, use it. Use it on health care, use it on the environment.
Absolutely, and this is something that the left has been, could only dream of a few years ago. I mean, when it was a 55-45 majority just 2 Congresses ago, and last year was 51-49. I mean, to get 9 additional Democratic seats, they won't think that this is their opportunity to get major pieces of legislation through. But to get that success, as a byproduct of that success, Democrats had to elect a lot of moderates, a lot of diverse people ideologically, and that has affected what they can get through, and that's kind of the byproduct of the success. There's going to be a lot of compromise that's necessary to get legislation through.
And they may not have 60 for long because some of those Democratic senators are in trouble in their states, and they may not win their next election. So it'll remain to be seen how long they keep this supermajority. Manu Raju, the congressional reporter for Politico, thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate it.
And you've been watching Washington Unplugged. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Nancy Cordes, Capitol Hill correspondent here at CBS News. Thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow.